Even in lockdown, BGC's got it going on. Good afternoon, beautiful people. We are at Venice Mall in BGC to look at a rent-to-own apartment, and we'll also look at another one not too far from here. With me is the real estate agent, Estef. Hello, Estef.
Hi, Sir Marshall.
We're going to go now and have a look at the first apartment. We're in St Mark's Tower and we're going up to the 22nd floor. That's a 23-storey building. And that's me. So this is it, 40 square metres, 22nd floor of St Mark's Tower in the Venice Canal Mall condominiums. There are 7 condominiums above the Venice Canal Mall, and this is one of them, this is St Mark's. This condominium is 40 square metres and has what you've seen. It's unfurnished, but it has a stove, an air conditioner, a wardrobe. The bathroom's reasonably well appointed. There's no electricity, so we couldn't really see very well in the bathroom, but it's not bad. And it's 10 million pesos. If you were to pay cash, you would get a, what's the discount, Estef?
If you pay it cash, you will have a 12% discount for this unit.
12% discount?
Yes, 12%.
Okay, so if you paid cash, you get a 12% discount. And if you want to avail yourself of the rent-to-own scheme, the RTO, you'll need to pay at least 5% as a deposit. And then once you've paid that 5%, which would be 500,000 pesos, you will pay 38,000 pesos a month for the term of the contract, which is 3 years. Now, after that 3 years, whatever's left owing on the principal, given that you'll get a 5% discount from the beginning, you'll pay a 5% deposit, and you'll be paying 38,000 pesos a month for 3 years. Whatever that adds up to, and I'll put the figure on the screen now, that is subtracted from the total original price of the unit.
After 2 years, it will happen that you cannot pay or continue the payment terms and the rent-to-own terms of this unit. All payment made is forfeited.
We're down in the lobby at the moment because the vocals were sort of booming around that empty apartment. And I just want to ask Estef a couple of questions about the rent-to-own system. But before we interview Estef, there's a couple of things I'd like to talk about. Before signing a contract, I think one of the best things you can do is to think to yourself, what's the upside, the potential upside of this contract, and what is the potential downside? So with a rent-to-own scheme, the potential upside would be, as far as I can see, that the principal of the property appreciates, so that the price of the property appreciates in value. And over a 3-year period, which is the term of the rent-to-own contract, over that 3 years, there's a lot of potential for the property to appreciate in value. Say it doubles in value for some reason, I don't know why, but say it doubles in value. Well, then that 10 million peso property will be worth 20 million pesos, and that's your money. That's your principal in the value of the property. The potential downside is that if you lose security of employment, you won't be able to meet your obligations. And if you don't meet your obligations, then you'll be out of contract, and that means that you'll lose. The contract will be foreclosed. What you will lose will be your initial deposit, your 5% deposit. 5%, 10 million pesos is 500,000 pesos. The money that you've been paying in rent, you would have been paying in rent anyway, but what you had paid was accruing in your favour. That would eventually have gone off the principal. So there is quite a large downside to this. If there's some kind of financial disruption in your life, like for example, I don't know, a pandemic. So what can you do if there is some kind of financial disruption in your life? What can you do about it? Well, there are actually two things you can do.
Well, that actually happened to me. I have after-sales service to my client. Like for example, my client, my first owner, does want to continue paying it. The first one, we can have it sell to other, and the payment made of the first owner will come to the first owner. The second, we can rent it out, but at the end of the balance due of the payment, the first owner should be handled that.
Okay, to clarify, if you find yourself in a position where you can't make the payments on the rent to own scheme because you've lost your job or something, what you can do is you have a couple of options. The first option that Estef was talking about, and that she actually did herself once, is that you can bundle up the contract that you have. You can look at how much the principal of the price of the apartment has risen over the period of time of the contract, and attempt to sell that to someone else. And that sort of thing actually happens. Or you're permitted within the terms of the contract to just rent the apartment out. So you could rent it to someone else who pays you rent, and then you continue to pay rent to the seller. But your relationship with the seller doesn't change in any way, shape or form. And that gives you a little bit of breathing space to try and find another job. And then of course, at the end of the 3-year term, you need to have acquired some form of finance to pay the remainder of the balance. So in other words, when the 3 years is up, you need to have spoken to a bank and they need to have agreed to lend you the money. But in principle, it shouldn't be too difficult, given that you've paid $38,000 a month into a fund, which has effectively gone off the principal. You've paid 5% up front, 500,000 pesos, so that's off the principal as well, and you got a 5% discount for signing the contract, so there's another 500,000 pesos off the principal. So even without the property itself having appreciated in value, you've probably paid 20 to even 30% off the principal, and a bank would look fairly kindly upon that. Obviously, it would be easier to just buy the thing outright, but who's got 10 million pesos lying around? But if you did, you'd get a 12% discount on the price, and that's without negotiating. So, that would be the preferable way to go. Another way to go would be just to go immediately to a bank, see if you can interest them in, if they will give you a loan, and then purchase it, get the 12% discount because you're paying the buyer the full amount. So really the rent to own scheme is for people who really don't have much in the way of savings and who aren't eligible at that time to get a bank mortgage to buy a property. And so the main takeaway from all of this for me, the buyer beware for me, is if you're going to enter into a rent to own contract, you would want to be very confident about the security of your employment and your employability, because if you lose your job somewhere within that 3 years of the contract, you could lose your deposit. We're in BGC at the moment. Why would I want to live in BGC?
Actually, right now you're in McKinley Hill, Taguig, part of Bonifacio Global City, a 50-hectare development by MegaWorld. McKinley Hill. So what we have here, we have international schools, we have embassies, we have BPO's company, and banks. You have it all.
All right, banks and embassies. But what else do you have?
You actually have a very unique mall, the Venice Grand Canal Mall, that connects to this building.
Another thing here that I explained before, that there's the mall, there's the Venice Mall, and then there are 7 condominiums. There's actually a free shuttle that sounds pretty good, that takes you to Market or takes you to sort of Uptown Bonifacio, and it's free and it leaves every half an hour. And just in case you're wondering, foreigners can't buy houses because they can't buy land in the Philippines, but you can buy and own 100% a condominium. And because of the pandemic, the amenities are closed. However, they are a swimming pool, sauna, spa, function room, gymnasium, and believe it or not, a cinema.
I'm gonna show you the 18th floor, Unit B, 95 square meter, 3-bedroom worth 29 million.
We're in Uptown Bonifacio, and this is Uptown Parksuites Tower 1, Unit 18V, and this is a big one. So it's 95 square meters and 29 million pesos. This is a fairly small bedroom. And a small bathroom, but there are actually 3 bathrooms, 2 bathrooms and 1 ensuite. This is another slightly larger bedroom. But even so, not what you call big. And this, I assume, is the master bedroom. There's no electricity in the building at the moment, so we can't turn any lights on, but there's an ensuite bathroom there. So there's no electricity, but this is the kitchen. And then through this door, there's a tiny little bathroom and a small windowless area, which is actually the maid's room. And it's impossible to see, I'm sorry, but there's no electricity. However, 95 square meters and 29 million pesos. And we're in Uptown Bonifacio. So we'll just quickly ask her, Steph, why would I want to live in Uptown Bonifacio?
The good thing why we should live in Uptown Bonifacio, Uptown Parksuites by MegaWorld, is that the first reason, we have international schools on the other side. It's just 2 to 3 minutes away from here, and then we have mall that connects to the building also, and then we have on the right side the Ortigas BGC link bridge.
So we just had a look at a 95 square metre, 29 million peso apartment here in Uptown Bonifacio. And believe it or not, that is also applicable for the rent to own scheme. On exactly the same terms as conditions as we discussed on the last one. Just a couple of things I want to clear up. One is, this isn't a paid promotion, and I won't be receiving any commissions at any time in the future either. And I would like to thank Estef for showing us through. Thank you.